Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Real World Blockchain Podcast, where you can learn how your business will thrive thanks to the blockchain and Web3 in general. I am blessed to have my three partners in crime, three long haircuts, two beards, and four big IQs for your entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, and the technical or rainbow that we have in between those two genders. That's 2024. So, hi everyone. Hi guys. I hope you are in a good mood because I'm in a very good mood today.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
we have beautiful weather here. There's nothing better.
Okay,
I love
good. That's great. So, today, just to start that's lovely episode, I believe, Rebecca, you wanted to talk to us about Robinhood, the famous or infamous Robinhood, depending on how you look at it. And they apparently are famous again. So, please enlighten us, Rebecca.
Yes. So Robinhood announced that they are purchasing UK-based crypto exchange
Mm-hmm.
Bitstamp for 200 million. Doesn't that sound nice? So Bitstamp was established in 2011, and they currently trade over 85 different cryptos, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, USDC, USDT, and Ripple. And Robinhood has said that this is a move to expand its global reach and attract more institutional clients, institutional users.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think something that I think is really, really interesting is that earlier this year we were talking about how Robinhood received a Wells notice from the SEC and how this could potentially really impact its crypto operations. So I'm wondering if this decision to kind of move forward with this purchase, which is supposed to be completed in the beginning of 2025, it's also a move to reduce its dependency on the US crypto market,
Ah.
especially because, as we know, the US crypto market currently is going through some regulatory challenges, to say the least. Also, yeah, so reading this, I was like, oh, it's kind of timely and really smart.
It's not as if the European market wasn't also in regulatory turmoil, but it's not the same. So that's a way to mitigate risk.
Mhm.
What is striking me though is the $200 million seems not that huge for such a famous exchange. What do you think, Niles? I see you reacting.
Well, like Bitstamp was around during Mount Gox.
Hmm.
This is one of the earliest exchanges in existence. And I think the move here, not financial advice, but Robinhood is getting some legitimacy
Mhm.
by having Bitstamp in their portfolio of companies that are now actually trading. Because I will say, like, I actually, based on what we talked about last time, full disclosure, I opened my account. I created one.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
I'm
I got
there.
that.
And like now this is something that makes me more comfortable, to be honest, with how the company is operating and actually doing trades.
Well, the thing is, these guys at Bitstamp had many crypto products,
Mhm.
like not only tokens for payment, they had institutional lending and staking, and they
Mhm.
had many licenses. That's a healthy ecosystem. And yes, Bitstamp is something that all the old Bitcoin old timers will know. Uh, so that's some street cred here. Good move from Robin Hood, and I suppose that for $200 million, either there's something that we don't know,
I wish I had $200 million.
but if it's not that, well, for $200 million, that's a bargain.
Mhm.
I think so. I think
Well,
so because the volume and the amount of trust, which in the financial world, um, can't be quantified, but can be qualified, I suppose, or maybe it's qualified, not quantified. There's a lot.
mm,
I know Bitstamp. this is something that I trust. Robinhood has been on shaky ground with stopping trading
Mm.
on certain things. Sometimes it starts with GME. This is something where they're now bringing in to the United States market as a United States institution to say that they're actually going to play for crypto, even if they are under quote unquote like investigation. And that's something that I'm very interested in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all in all, this is a good strategy because it mitigates the risk, it improves profit, and that's a versatile strategy in the end. Zoe,
Yeah,
you wanted to add something, Zoe?
Yeah, I was gonna just really reiterate that and reemphasize the emphasis on trust.
Hmm. And so,
I
That's the
think the
basis of money,
article.
right?
yeah,
I think the article said it was 200 cash, which I think is, 200, sorry, $1 million in cash, which usually purchases like this are a combination of like cash and
and my own
some other,
tokens.
yes, exactly, your own tokens, your own stocks, however, a bunch of different things. So I think perhaps the fact that it's a 200 million cash offer kind of it's more it's worth more than potentially.
Absolutely, yeah.
um,
I think you basically blew up my interrogation here. Yes, indeed. Because, dear listeners, we don't give investment advice. This is not the purpose of this podcast. But we give advice for the professionals who want to set foot in this industry. And one thing that every professional in the blockchain industry knows is that eventually, one day or another, you will be facing an offer where you are basically paid 30% in fiat currency or USDC and the rest in an unsellable token that some client will want you to convert if you can. So, and sometimes the
If I
token is
could just
actually worth
reiterate,
something.
what we do is we advise you to subscribe Web3 Enabler.
Yeah,
We are
Web3
not
Enabler
going
doesn't have a
to do
token. That's an actual
financial
service.
advice. We are not subscribing to life advice. There's nothing else here.
But yeah, that's something very classic in the blockchain industry to be paid in tokens, and sometimes these tokens are very useful and very well. They're worth the the uncertainty. Some people have been paid in tokens, half in tokens that became much more interesting than just a mere fiat currency, and sometimes it's hard. So yes, getting $200 million in cash is quite quite positive if you're really looking to cash out and to use that. And so, since we are talking about a UK company, let's stay in this lovely island where everyone drinks tea and eats jelly, and let's talk about Fidelity International because they are currently tokenizing a money market fund on JP Morgan's blockchain. Niles, what can you tell us about that?
So I think this is really interesting is that Fidelity is looking to partner with JP Morgan on their own proprietary
Mm.
private blockchain, where another financial institution within one of the great players is going to use somebody else's like standards and I guess we'll call it like backend. And why they chose this, like I really can't answer why. But I think that's an interesting question that I will toss back to you and everybody else here on why aren't they building their own?
Mm. Perhaps
And is
there's
it something? Oh, yeah.
it's okay. I was just kind of thinking like perhaps partnerships. One thing that they could do is split up the fault, I guess. if something goes wrong. So potentially it's like you partner with someone, you're kind of, you know, they're splitting up some of that risk, and you're splitting up some of that, the things that could potentially go wrong. And when you're a big corporation, a big business like that, I imagine that that is something that's very top of mind. And potentially that could be why they're pursuing a partnership rather than building it on their own. Because reality is that they probably have the money to do it. If they wanted to get the talent, they could do it. But, you know, I think splitting
Yeah,
up some of that risk.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because
risk,
I know that like
reputation.
Fidelity already offers Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, ETH within their actual funds. You can go and buy this right now through Fidelity crypto accounts. Why are they choosing to go and use somebody else's infrastructure? I don't know.
Well, there might be a few reasons. First of all, there might be partnerships that have been signed that we don't know about. Sometimes you already have your product, but people want you to do the same thing, and they offer you a deal that you can't refuse. And also because then it gives you entries in other worlds, and that's not the first time. I mean,
Yeah,
Fidelity.
I mean
Fidelity.
they're one of the biggest, right? Like everybody knows the name, and at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, trust is the biggest thing. I do
Right.
trust Fidelity.
And also,
They have launched like they launched an ETF
Mhm.
for Bitcoin.
yeah,
It is it's big.
Yeah.
it's big, and in March 2024 they also had a partnership with Signum, which is not Signum
Yeah,
Sygnum. That's not a big bank, but that's a Swiss bank.
yeah.
And yeah, are you skeptical about that, Niles?
Well, I just sort of questioned about that
Huh.
because like this is something where Fidelity has much more of a name recognition than Sigma. I know that in my prior experience working in the financial industry, there has been a chance for State Street, which is the largest custodial bank in the United States, to work with another company that would then custody the crypto. And after a while, that fell through. I'm not going to name the company, but that makes me concerned because, like, why is Fidelity or any of these large institutions not going to do it themselves? I believe that, like, we talked about regulation in the last couple episodes that allows for these banks to actually hold for themselves what is happening.
Okay, you're right. I understand the skepticism then and the perplexity behind that. Okay, Rebecca, what do you think about that, or Zoe?
Not sure. I think that's quite complex.
Mm. We'll see what it leads to, and indeed, maybe that's also just a simple PR move to draw like from TradFi people. It could be interesting to draw the attention of the blockchain people, but um, let's face it, the blockchain industry has more to gain by drawing attention, you know, from the TradFi world than the other way around. Um, so why would they do that? Probably also for a PR move. Uh, but
Yeah,
this raises concerns, and that would be interesting to make a real world blockchain special with a specialist, of the banking initiatives in the blockchain world, and also about all the accountability issues that could derive from these partnerships.
Oh yeah, reputation is just so much of it.
Huh.
Reputation,
Yeah.
accountability, trust.
And like Zoe, you bring up a great point where the last, I mean, 4 years since the bull run, what people think about is like FTX,
Mm-hmm.
Celsius, collapses of centralized institutions that
Yeah.
have failed us that are related to crypto. Crypto is not the like what collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
It was these people that did traditional finance.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to work back to a basis of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all we want is just trust. And I don't think that like we can do anything unless we have that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, with all the unknowns, you need that much. You need that much, and where when there's a hit to that, when there's a blow, then it just it's not easy to recover, and unfortunately, it really is industry wide, and not for any good reason other than there are unknowns and these catastrophes happen.
Mm-hmm. And the crypto world is still so young, right? Like they're in relative to our financial system or just everything else that we interact with, it is a baby. And so unfortunately, there's not a ton of history for it, and there's a lot of bad actors in the history. And you're naming some of the big ones, but there's also like plenty of NFT rug pulls and plenty of like exactly, and it's still happening. It's not we're not hearing about it as much, right? People have become more savvy, but
Well,
That's true. And like
I,
how
I
many
have.
like games have failed or anything like traditional has been a scam.
Yeah, there are so many of them, so many little scams or borderline scammy projects.
yes,
I have an
yes.
anecdote about that, if you allow me. I think it was 18 months ago, I was at the Paris Blockchain Week, and I went there during the era of the NFT buzzwords. So many companies were investing in NFTs, and I came there, and there was this guy with a very strong Southern French accent, who was basically pointing an AK-47 at me, and I thought, "Oh, what is it?" And so the guy comes to me and told me, "Oh, big guy, what do you want? Do you want to buy a Kalashnikov?" So I was like, "Okay, what is that? Are you selling like airsoft guns?" No, 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 I'm selling NFT Kalashnikovs. All right. So what does that mean? Well, we have this thing. We sell 3D models of NFT Kalashnikovs in the metaverse so that you can protect your virtual apartment in the metaverse. So we all know that the metaverse at the moment is really over promising is a euphemism, really, because like it's nothing like the Ready Player One movie that was promised.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like a shitty version of Second Life that would have many bugs and that would make you desperate. But okay, plus NFTs. And so I told the guy, okay, but what does prevent me from downloading a 3D asset, a 3D mesh from your Kalashnikov and protecting my virtual apartment in the metaverse myself? So the guy bugged, looked at me blankly for a minute, and then he told me, yeah, but here you have an NFT showing that this is yours. And so I came to his booth and I asked the guy, okay, what's your business model? And the guy obviously was a bit pissed at my question, and he told me, dude, we don't care about the business model. The investors had so much FOMO, so much fear of missing the train, that they just gave us $8
Oh
million.
my
dollars. We're
god.
we're set for the next 8 years. And the guy went away, back to his booth. And then I thought about my life priorities and about the. I thought to myself I would be richer if I had more integrity. So I basically started to drown my sorrow in the appetizers that were quite numerous at this event.
I
Paris
have no
blockchain.
doubt. Like Gautier, I love that you're safe. That was not where I thought this was going.
Same. I have to agree with
So it's
Niles.
not a
I
rug
was
pull
so
per
sure.
se because the investors were obviously consenting to that, but That kind of seems like a rug pull from me. If you're selling NFT Kalashnikovs just for like, like in a few years we're going to see NFTs for your cat that you have to mate with another cat in real life, and there will be a cat Tinder with NFTs or something.
So you're talking about like CryptoKitties.
Yes, but in real life. Anyway, last news of
Not coming soon. The Koopa coin.
Mm.
And so next news of the day, Zoe, I believe you wanted to talk to us about Ripple, and dear listeners, Zoe is very knowledgeable about that because she also is the person supervising the project at Web3 Enabler that we're doing, XRP for Salesforce, so allowing people to use this great cryptocurrency product. You want to say something, Niles?
No, I'm just getting kudos.
Kudos.
Like,
Oh, that's the sign for okay.
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, in
Well,
Hawaii.
let's give credit where credit is due. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Zoe
Much
developed that
appreciated.
project
I appreciate you all.
and leveraged it single-handedly. So you wanted to talk to us about Ripple. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, so earlier this year, Ripple had announced its plan to acquire Standard Custody and Trust Company, and which is an enterprise-grade regulatory custodian for digital assets. So obviously, this has great implications for trust, security, and compliance, and also usability in order to really drive home Ripple's goals for bringing blockchain to the real world and bridging it with traditional finance. So, and this also follows its plans to launch a USD-backed stablecoin, which is also super promising. Says a lot about stability and compliance and trust, and building those relationships with participants in the ecosystem, and also bridging that gap between blockchain and traditional finance. So Ripple continues to show their commitment to that. And I, would definitely say that for this reason, they're one of the most trustworthy blockchains. And I'm sure they're talking about that a lot at the current Apex conference, which is their annual conference. And yeah, I mean, it's just really exciting when you bring it closer to the real world, because that's where the promise is. Because as we consider, we have to be pragmatic as a society, and there are setbacks. So this kind of reality, rather than those guns, rather than everything, really brings a practicality and really establishes trust, and really is where the promise actually is, sustainably so. And that's what obviously we at Web3 Enabler aim to do by bringing blockchain technology and blockchain payments to the real world via our existing business as usual CRM ERP software.
That's wonderful. And so I
And I
believe
could
that
not have said that better than myself. Like, wow.
I believe
I was really excited.
I believe Ripple has appointed a very prominent figure in the crypto world, namely Jack McDonald.
Yes.
So as a vice president of their stable coins, but Jack McDonald is also the CEO of Polysign. So he's a very seasoned veteran in this industry, and probably a very good fit for that. That's they're obviously trying to play big here.
Yeah. And like, I really have no doubt that Ripple in the future will be something that international payments are using as another payment rail. Like, they are building out this infrastructure, and they've already, at least within the US, have faced lawsuits by the SEC
Yeah.
and won. They are going to go and be able to, I believe, in the future, with this new SEC lawsuit with their stablecoins, to win. Because this is something where Ripple versus XRPL It's just another payment rail. It's just
Mm.
another thing. This is like, are you going to go and sue the internet?
Old man yells at the internet. I also think that it seems very obvious that that Ripple is not here just for the gains. They're not just
Mm.
blindly buying other companies trying to make a profit. Let's buy that because we can, and it would be interesting to resell that. Hiring McDonald as an
Mm.
SVP of stable coins, and at the same time as the CEO of Standard Custody. Uh, Basically, this is a strategic positioning showing that this double role is basically aligning the companies and the objectives of the companies together. So, uh, yeah, that shows that stable coins are the next big thing in the next decade for Ripple, and cross-border payments are obviously what they're looking for. We at Web3 Enabler couldn't be happier about that, of course.
Of course. And
Yes.
at this point, like, stablecoins are the name of the game. It's something that I think will only grow.
Mm.
And as different, I don't even know if it's necessarily countries because, like, the euro is included,
Yeah.
which is a collective of different countries. You want people to be doing trade in your currency.
Mm.
And this is another way that you're now getting backed by, like, your bonds. You are supporting the country when you have a stablecoin
Mm.
that is denominated in that currency. And this is soft power. There is no reason why the United States should be shutting down Tether or
Mm.
USDC if they really want to actually have the United States dollar as a world currency.
Mm.
Euro, same deal.
Yeah. I mean, it also opens up opportunities for like third world countries, right? Or countries with currencies that are less stable. Like I remember a few years ago, Venezuela tried to put out a stable coin that was tied to the
Yeah, the
dollar. It was called
Petro.
like the Petro coin. Yeah,
Yeah,
Petro
we
coin or
talked
whatever.
about it in a real world
Yeah.
blockchain
Yes.
episode.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, Venezuela has a myriad of issues. So it was not solely the fact that it was tied to the to the oil, but also it was like run by the country. So it came with a lot of baggage that people weren't willing to use. But I think the fact that the country was willing to think about it and to try to implement it opened up people's mind to the possibilities that this was something that could be used. And it made Venezuelans more willing to try to find ways to use crypto in their daily transactions. And I mean, inflation is like probably 3,000% right now over there. So having access to a stable coin that's pegged to the dollar, that's pegged to the euro, to the pound, that's amazing for a country like Venezuela, whose own currency has failed them, right?
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Zoe, for this exciting news. And dear listeners, this was the Real World Blockchain Podcast with Gauthier, Niles, Zoe, and Rebecca, no matter in which order. This episode brought to you by Web3 Enabler, the first and only cryptocurrency payment solution on Salesforce. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you next week.
Thank you.